Hey fellas, so a few months back I found an old cult classic B movie called Dinosaurus. And that's not a typo or a misstatement, that's the literal title of the movie, Dinosaurus. So with an exclamation point to boot. So basic synopsis of the movie is some folks that are excavating off the shore of some Latin American island, digs and finds, inadvertently discovers a pair of frozen dinosaurs at the bottom of the ocean. I am not going to question the science of those logistics, but because that one, I'm not a scientist, and two, that's just too long a discussion to go down. But accepting that premise, two dinosaurs are discovered along with a frozen caveman. More logistics questions, because apparently they all lived around the same time. One of the creatures is a brontosaurus. One is a Tyrannosaurus Rex. One which lived in the Jurassic era, and one which lived in the Cretaceous era. But hey, who's the judge? And when they are released, or when they awaken from their frozen slumber, they of course the T-Rex goes on a rampage, causing a lot of chaos on the island. The people aren't anything to write home about. The two main leads, or the three main leads, are three very white Caucasian folk living amongst these Hispanic folk, or these Hispanic Latino folks. The typical square-jawed white guy that's just like, he's always got the good judgment call, and he's always going to get the girl at the end. It's a very it's a very dated star lineup, but I mean it was made in 1960, so you gotta forgive it for the time. What you can't forgive it for is the dated effects, which even back then were laughable. I mean, think about this. King Kong, the Willis O'Brien masterpiece, King Kong, featuring this breathtaking stop motion effects and matte paintings and all kinds of cool camera tricks that are still impressive nearly 100 years later, well outpaced the effects in this movie, made exactly 27 years later. That's just sad. Now, it's true the studio may not have had as much money. There may have been circumstances going on with the studio budget that caused the effects to look this crude, but either way, it's entertaining. It's entertainingly laughable. I'm nitpicking the crap out of the effects only because they're so enjoyably bad. There's bad, and there's enjoyably bad. And this movie utilizes a unique combo of very crude stop motion effects, not even good Harryhausen or O'Brien stop motion, but just really crude stop motion that you would find in some other 1940s era B movie, laced with really bad puppet work. And the transition from a close-up puppet of the T-Rex to a full-scale stop-motion model of the same creature is so jarring. But it's entertaining. The island setting is fairly exotic. It's a fairly nice-looking backdrop. The problem is, I suspect 90% of this movie was not filmed on an island at all. I think maybe 2 or 3 scenes were filmed on an island, and the rest of it was just the 3 or 4 main leads spliced with a split screen of several other secondary extras that were just inserted into the background shots. It's so strange. You've got several shots throughout the movie of two or three of the main characters standing in the foreground, and there's a clear change in camera quality between them and the background extras. Like the background extras are in a completely different movie, in a completely different setting, in a completely different part of the world, and they're not interacting with each other whatsoever. There's shots of the T-Rex battling an excavator, and it cuts to several shots of these island locals, and they're reacting, their facial reactions, their bodily reactions to this awesome epic, what should be an awesome epic fight, is just like casually watching a t-ball game. It's so bad, but again, it adds to the charm of the movie. It's got a very low quality B movie feel to it, but it's still entertaining. It's still a lot of fun to watch. There's also a Riff Tracks version of there's a version of this movie out there for free on YouTube, complete with Riff Tracks commentary. So, to which they ask for your donations to go to pay towards Riff Tracks to keep the show, to keep their series going. So, but otherwise it's free. So check it out. It's cheap. It's silly. The dialects are piss poor. Their poor attempt to capture the culture of these island folk is real bad. The split screen effects are real bad, and most of all the dinosaurs are pretty bad too. So, in the movie, I think another thing I didn't mention is the movie has no clear tone. There's shots of the T-Rex crushing a bus full of people. Immediately transitions to a scene of a caveman doing like some kind of weird Three Stooges bit, sneaking through this lady's house. So it's hard to tell what this movie is really going for, if it's self-aware or if it's just tone deaf. I don't know. Either way, it's a fun movie. I would encourage all dinosaur movie fans and monster movie fans and Mystery Science Theater fans to check this movie out. A lot of fun. So, have a good day, guys.